equality. Does equality really exist? We are born unequal, physically, mentally, economically, and environmentally. We don't select our parents. We don't select our tribe or our religion until we're 17, 18, whatever. Equality under the law is an ideal which society should always endeavor to achieve. Thank God we are not the same. Otherwise, it would be a very boring world, wouldn't it? The new Biden Equality Act, which he calls equity, will make government overreach the law of the land. By definition, good laws respect constitutional freedoms. They promote justice, fairness. They benefit society as a whole, and they support the common good, not just the interests of particular groups. Bad laws create victims. They also create chaos. The Equity Act is bad law. It's about equity, not about equality. He says we have to eliminate systemic race problems. We don't have systemic race problems. Yes, we have some race problems, but it's not systemic anymore. That was 50 years ago. They're mostly in the past. This Equity Act could force churches to abandon their faith-based hiring standards and religious schools to abandon their faith-based admission standards, and women to share private bathrooms with men, and female athletes to compete with women who used to be men. And millions of Christians, Muslims, and Jews to violate their religious views on marriage and sexual morality or face punishment. This is unacceptable. Fathers are also under attack these days because some families insist on total equality. They say father is an overbearing figure who abuses his power. Some young adults have determined that, right? However, equality is really an ideal that we should aim at, but does not actually exist in the world. We are all born unequal. As I said, we don't choose our parents. We have different talents. Some of us are physically stronger or weaker. Some are richer or poorer. Some have high IQ levels. And beauty differs between persons, both internal beauty and external beauty. So, do beautiful people have to wear masks because they're too beautiful? Do we have to limit the physically stronger in sports events? Should we pass children in school even though they failed their tests? That's stupid, ignorant ideas. Actors and sports figures have skills that most of us lack. We are all equal before the law if you got the right attorney and you have the money to pay for him, right? Then you have somewhat equality before the law. Nevertheless, those who get court-appointed attorneys are handicapped. Those with money get far greater justice. I've seen this in action. Those who defend the father as the head of the family have no cause to fear this and every reason to embrace it. When stripped of its non-Christian forms and distortions, patriarchy becomes a refreshing notion. The image of the patriarch invokes sentiments of veneration and respect. After all, the patriarch of the family, or extended family, or nation, is responsible for the safety and welfare, which is a huge obligation on the part of the father, whether it's the father of the family or the father of the nation. The reason why some feminists attack fatherhood so fiercely is that it represents a threat to them. It is the father figure as he should be. He is part of the hierarchy of society that feminism rejects. He normally brings order to the family, to the clan, to the city, to the state, and to the country. Now, the traditional family, the key to understanding patriarchy lies in the forgotten idea of traditional family. So what is a traditional family? The church has long taught that family is not a single social unit existing in the present without any connection to the past and the future. Rather, the family should be rich and continuous whole that encompasses all those who have come before and will come after. Each family is a vast network of relationships. It is part of the social fabric. There should be someone in authority that maintains its unity. Now, in the Asian cultures, they revere and really appreciate their fathers, their grandfathers, more than America, unfortunately. The influence of the patriarch or matriarch extends beyond his or her immediate household. It might include branches of the family, including grandparents, or even an entire clan. The patriarch and matriarch should not exercise arbitrary or tyrannical authority. Indeed, he or she should exert a unifying leadership over the whole that is more by influence than by command. He or she guides with great care and sensitivity to the interrelationships between individuals who alike are in so many ways, they're also very different. This brings me to a key point. You know, years ago during the Vietnam War, there was a Lieutenant Calley who ordered his troops to go into this village and annihilate all men, women, and children. He commanded them. Some troops questioned it, but they didn't have the guts to stand up to him. So they went in and they followed his command, wiped out dozens of innocent men, women, and children. Now, he was court-martialed, and I think he's still in prison. The point is, that's group evil. Each of those soldiers had a right to disobey a logical, immoral command. And we have a right to disobey a president who gives us an edict or a command that is immoral and inappropriate. Now, you have to be careful with that. You've got to be willing to stand up and take the consequences. Okay, so the patriarch is the true leader of the family. He has a special gift to discern and coordinate the general direction of those under him. He unifies and brings out the best in others. Such leaders are sadly missing in much of today's society, especially in minority groups such as the black family. 75% of all black families lack a father image because of the government's subsidies. Children and young adults go their own way. There's a lack of authority to unify these families and direct their social and moral progress. And the mother's too busy struggling to feed them to attend to these needs. A major reason for this problem is the $22 trillion federal investment failure that began in the mid-60s, known as the War on Poverty, which caused minorities to be dependent on and locked into government welfare, so that today they rarely are able to rise above the poverty line. Finally, there can only be one captain of a ship, especially when sailing through a storm that we're going through today. That is, if you hope to arrive at your destination safely. My next talk will be on morality and abortion.